Welcome to Proverbs 31 Creatives. My name is Brianna Coleman. I'm so excited for this new chapter in my walk with the Lord. My goal with this podcast is to encourage other women to grow their creativity, entrepreneurship, finances, life, health, and most importantly, grow closer to Jesus. I'll be having conversations with guests with anointed women in faith and learning right along with you. Are you ready to start your journey to become the creative Proverbs 31 woman you've always wanted to be? All right, let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Proverbs 31 Creatives. I'm your host, Brianna Coleman. I hope you guys are having an amazing week so far, and if you are listening to this on the day that it comes out, happy Friday. I really missed not recording last week, but if I'm going to be so honest, I just needed to take a break. Between working with clients for end of the year sales and promotions and things like that, as well as trying to work on the house and get that ready, I was just so zapped. I was so drained, and I tried to sit down to record and it just felt so forced, and I just did not want to do that. I would have rather rested than try to do something out of my own strength and push forward. So I did take a break last week, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel because we are officially moving into our house. I am so excited. I cannot even believe it. This time next week that I'm sitting here recording, I will be in my house. I am so excited. At the time of recording this episode, they are painting right now. Yes, we had to hire contractors. We did a lot of the work ourselves, but since we are in such crunch time and with Christmas right around the corner, we just hired contractors to help us finish the job. I thought we were going to be able to paint, but that would have taken the both of us 2 weeks, and we both obviously have work and Christmas, and just life is just crazy right now. So every day looks different at the moment. But I'm so excited. We have a light at the end of the tunnel. We have a move-in date. We have our movers scheduled, and I'm so excited. So with that being said, I will not have an episode the 27th. So yeah, this one's going to come out on the 20th, and then I will not have an episode on the 27th. I'm going to take that week to obviously move in, get settled, and I really just want to fine tune my ears toward the Lord and just prepare for 2025. I am so expectant for what the Lord is about to do in 2025. It's mind-boggling to me that this time last year, I did not even have a podcast on my radar, and yet everything that I believe is about to transpire and I just want to say it, but I can't yet, but know that there is something in the works. There is a project that is being worked on behind the scenes, and I cannot wait to release that. So just know that there is so much in store for 2025 and all that the Lord has. So if you could please just be praying for me for provision and clarity, and I'm just going to take that last week of 2024 and prepare for 2025. But this is so bittersweet to record and to finally say this out loud, but I am going to have a space where I don't have to move totes out every single time I record. Setting up my podcast studio is like priority number one, besides obviously getting all the boxes and stuff moved into the house. I just moved the totes out of this office for the last time to record, and I'm so excited. I won't have to rearrange a whole room in order to get this set up, get this recording, and it just be all together all the time, and I'm just so looking forward to that. It really is the little things. So instead of recording last week, I did just spend time with the Lord, and I was on a walk with Blue a few days ago, and I just asked the Lord, I asked him, I said, what is my word for 2025? Every year, I like to have a word for the year. For 2024, it was refinement. And I just felt that in January. And oh my gosh, did we have a refiner season in 2024? I knew that when that was my word for the year, that it was probably going to be a lot of ups and downs and a lot of stretching and growth and a lot of just holding on and trusting the Lord that He knows what He's doing. So on that walk, I asked the Lord, what is my word for 2025? In that moment, I didn't get the word for my 2025, but I have been feeling alabaster and the spirit of excellence. And of course, we have the passage in Luke 7, and I believe there's another one in Matthew 26, where the woman poured her costly oil on Jesus. And the Lord has really been speaking to me about the spirit of excellence, doing everything that I do in my daily life with the spirit of excellence to the best degree. And the Lord has really been speaking to me about precision and accuracy. And this is something that I feel like I've been working on for a couple months, and the Lord has been walking me through. Is personally, I feel like I sometimes do things just to get them done. And they could be more precise, they could be more accurate. And so that is something that he's been walking me through these last couple months. So I have just literally, the last couple days, I just have been saying alabaster excellence, kind of just merging the two, which, yes, that is catchy. And I feel like that could be a great marketing campaign, is alabaster excellence. But then it hit me. The Lord reminded me of a story that my mom told me back in April, May timeframe. I don't even remember, but it was at small group with my women's small group. So just follow me here. It'll take a second, but it'll make sense in a minute. So backstory, my stepdad loves to hike. He has hiked all over the country. He goes for weeks at a time. He has hiked for years. And she helps him prepare for every single hike. She goes sometimes too, like they were just out in Arizona this past like springtime, and the pictures and the videos are just absolutely beautiful of the landscape, and I would love to go myself. They've done the Utah Mighty 5. It's just the pictures and videos and stuff is just gorgeous. But when he packs, he has to get very specific down to the ounce of weight, because obviously it's not like he's got a buggy with him or a wagon that he's pulling. It's all in a backpack. So he has to get super specific down to the ounce of what he's carrying. What is he going to prioritize? What is he going to use? What is he not going to use? What's the weather going to be like? He has to think about food. So there's so many different things that all go into the packing process. I've seen it where everything is just laid out on the floor and he just has to pick and choose what he's going to take and what he's not going to take. So not many people know this unless you hike and you're an avid hiker, but on these long hikes, there are certain checkpoints right before you go higher in elevation where you can shed layers, drop things off. Maybe you overpacked, maybe you packed something that you didn't need or you're not going to use. Hikers use it as a community builder, and basically it's like I don't want to say a free-for-all, but kind of like you can drop something that you don't need, but maybe there's something in the box that you do need that somebody else packed and they shed. So, but these boxes are right before you go up a hill. So maybe somebody who's coming down the hill, they'll stop at the box and pick something up. Say maybe like a jacket, a hat, something like that. And then, but for those that are going up, in order for them to continue to go higher, they need to shed some weight, basically, is what it is. They need to take off things that they're holding. But my mom said something that was so profound, and this is what stuck with me. These checkpoints, and I just said it, but I'm going to repeat it. These checkpoints are typically right before you go up in elevation. When I reflected on this year, that's what this year was. Shedding layers, being refined, purified. If I had to sum up 2024, that's what it is. And my word for the year was refinement, and it did just that. So with all of that being said, my word for the year is altitude. We are going higher in 2025. In 2024, we shed some layers, so in 2025, we can go higher. And I'm calling it the year of rising higher. And I just wrote some notes, and I'm just going to read these because I want to get this the way that I felt them Altitude can be a reminder to lift your eyes above distractions, worries, or earthly goals and set your focus on the eternal. This year is going to be about seeking a deeper relationship with the Lord, rising above the noise and choosing worship and devotion as your response to life's challenges. Colossians 3:2. Set your mind on the things above, not on earthly things. James 4:8. Draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Altitude could remind you to live in a posture of surrender, poured out to the Lord. As you give him your talent, your time, and resources, he lifts you to places you could never reach on your own. James 4:10. Humble yourselves before the Lord and he will lift you up. Isaiah 40 verse 3. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. As you climb higher, the air gets thinner. It requires strength, endurance, and reliance on God. Altitude can remind you to persevere and trust in him as you grow spiritually, emotionally, and creatively. Colossians 3 verse 23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Philippians 3 verse 14. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. When you are at a higher altitude, you see things from a broader, clearer perspective. Altitude can be a reminder about shifting your focus from the temporary to the eternal and aligning your vision with God's purpose. 2 Corinthians 4 verses 17 through 18. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Altitude can inspire you to rise above mediocrity and distractions and step into the life of purpose and impact God has for you. It's a word of action, calling you to elevate your worship, stewardship, and creativity to reflect his excellence. So altitude is the perfect merge between alabaster and the spirit of excellence. And actually, it's funny. So it's not funny. It's the Lord. But he's got a sense of humor, I promise. The more you get to know the Lord, you do realize he does have a very great sense of humor. So my mom is a loan officer. I think I've mentioned that on here before. So she has a great network of real estate agents. And one of the real estate agents, she house flips and things like that and investment properties and all that kind of fun stuff. But she painted this one house in this beautiful, it's not white, but it's like gray, off-white. Like, it's just beautiful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom, what is that color? Can you ask her? Because I want to paint my house that color. I said verbatim, I would paint my whole house that color. And she looks at me and she goes, it's by Sherwin-Williams and it's called Alabaster. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I just started laughing because I'm like, the Lord is in just such the details. So that is in fact the color that we are going with for our entire house. So I'm very excited. It's going to look so good, especially with the floors. So I will take lots of pictures and share on my personal Instagram and share the updates and things like that because the house is going to look so, so, so good. But I feel like that altitude is the perfect word for 2025. We are going from glory to glory, only ascending higher and higher, closer to the throne room. My favorite environment, and you can ask my friends, my favorite environment is a holy mess. And I hope that 2025 is just full of those kind of moments like that. But so now moving forward to the exciting announcement that I have. I kind of sneaked it on the last episode. I said that I have something in store for us for 2025 as a community of Proverbs 31 creatives. Introducing the Proverbs 31 growth series for all of 2025. I didn't want to call this a challenge because this isn't just like a 30-day do it and forget it kind of deal. This is something that we're starting in January and it's going to bear fruit all year long. Each month we'll have a theme, a main goal, reflection questions, all based on Proverbs 31. I encourage you to journal, to track your progress, and spend intentional time with the Lord. So I'm going to give January's theme and main goal and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm going to list a couple more of the themes, but I'm not going to give everything away. So on like the third or fourth episode of every month, so I try to do episodes every single Friday. So on the third or fourth Friday of every month, I will give the theme, reflection questions, goals, everything like that for the next month, because I don't want to bombard and overwhelm. So we're going to take it one piece at a time, but I'll give you some ideas of the themes that we're going to have for this year. So for January, of course, since it's the first of the year, I thought it was only fitting that our theme was diligence in discipline, based off of Proverbs 31, verse 27, which is, she watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. So this is going to be setting ourselves up for 2025. Habit tracking, Bible reading, getting things in order. So our main goal, and I didn't want to list off a whole bunch of things that you need to do, but I wanted to give 1 to 2 tangible main goals for each month, because I know for me, when I try to do a challenge and I feel overwhelmed, I do not do it. So that's why I'm only giving like 1 or 2 main goals for us to then stack on top of each other month after month. So this main goal is to read your Bible every morning for 15 minutes. Develop a simple, realistic daily schedule that prioritizes time for God, family, work, and personal care. So you're reading your Bible in the morning and you are fine-tuning your schedule. And I am taking part in this too, because I need to get better at my schedule. And then the reflection questions for this month, and I'll have them over on the Proverbs 31 Creatives Instagram, and make sure you guys are following that page, because this is what's going to help you stay up to date with all of the growth series, and we have some awesome resources over there. So I'm going to have these questions, the verse, the theme, all that kind of fun stuff announced on the Instagram. But the reflection questions I have for January are, number 1, I have 3 of them. Number 1, where do I struggle with idleness, and how can I replace it with purposeful action? Number 2, how can I create patterns in my life that reflect God's priorities? And number 3, what small habit can I begin this month to build greater diligence and discipline in the year ahead? And then for some more themes that I have for 2025, I have healthy stewardship. Of course, I have creativity and productivity, intentional living, wisdom and knowledge, hospitality and generosity, courage and boldness, resourcefulness, service and kindness, fearing the Lord, loving relationships. So just to kind of give you an idea, we are going to have some fun in 2025, get closer to the Lord, grow as a community. Also, I don't know how many people actually use Facebook, but I've considered doing like a Facebook group that everybody can join. That way we can all kind of get to know each other and really just grow as a community, uplift each other. I would love to do prayer calls. I think that would be phenomenal. Or co-working calls or something along those lines. So please let me know if that is something that you'd be interested in. Send me a DM, email, whatever you need to do. But I do just want to take a couple minutes and say thank you for an amazing 2024. I cannot believe we are only, so August, September, October, November, December, we are only 5 months into the podcast. And I am so grateful for everything that has already transpired. The amazing guests I have had the opportunity to talk to this year, and you guys got the chance, and myself got a chance to learn from. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this and to steward this. And this is only the beginning of this movement, of this community. And I am so looking forward to the growth that is going to happen in 2025. And I am so expectant. I will talk to you guys on my next episode will be actually on January 3rd. So I'm going to take some time, have a Merry Christmas with your families, with your loved ones. Happy New Year. I will be praying for you all. Also, make sure you have your prayer boards ready. Get time with the Lord, spend time with Him, and ask Him, co-create your prayer board for the year. Have verses on there. I have images and things like that. So you can go to Pinterest or Dupe Photos. I think that's what it's called. Dupe Photos is a brand new app that I absolutely love. Sometimes I use it for my YouTube thumbnails, but it basically, imagine Pinterest and Adobe stock images had a baby. That's exactly what it is. It's free royalty photos that you can use, go screenshot it, use in your marketing, whatever you want to do. It's by creators for creators. So great resource, highly recommended if you are in some sort of creative space, but I highly recommend it. So you can go to Dupe Photos and find some great photos on there for your prayer boards. Of course, you can go to Pinterest as well. You could do a physical one, like do magazines and print pictures off and whatever you want to do. But I just encourage you to get alone with the Lord and co-create your prayer board with Him. Pray and ask Him, Lord, show me images that you want me to see. And sometimes they're not even going to make sense, but you are drawn to these photos for some reason. And I will be the first one to say that I have had things in my life where I put something on a prayer board that does not make sense, that is not in my reality right now, but the Lord uses that. Like, for instance, there's a picture of a girl and a husband and wife on my prayer board where they have paint rollers in their hand, and it's just so cool to see that that is now my reality. Or I had a podcast set up on my prayer board and did not even have a podcast on my radar. So the Lord will use your prayer board to show you things in the plans that He has for you. So I just encourage you to co-create with the Lord. Go be creative, go make your prayer board, and pray for your 2025. I am going to be doing a fast starting January 1st. It's a 21-day fast. And how I do my fast typically, and of course, do what you need to do between you and the Lord. You will know what is fit for you. Eat breakfast, fast lunch, eat dinner. So that is something that is sustainable for me. Whenever I get hungry in the middle of the day, instead of going and turning to food, I go and eat the meat of the Word. So spend time with Jesus. So I encourage you, be prepared, pray for your 2025, make your prayer board, spend time with Jesus, and I look forward to an incredible 2025. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I will talk to you guys soon. I hope this episode blessed you today. If it did, please rate and review the show. It helps grow the podcast to reach more Proverbs 31 creatives just like you. Don't forget to follow the show so you'll automatically be notified when the next episode drops. I'll be praying for you. See you next week.